Started this whiskey cabinet, I don't know, maybe like 3 months ago. Started wiping on the finish, which is the Osmo Poly X. Now this is a high gloss, clear high gloss. It's an oil wax finish. I know a lot of people use Rubio. Absolutely nothing wrong with Rubio. I just don't happen to, I prefer Osmo. I mean, I just don't like the two-part system of the Rubio, and to me, it smells funny. Just my opinion. So I like the Osmo. I think it gives me a little bit better finish. It's all in one can. I don't have to mix any parts. Lasts a long time. I can get just a smidge more shine out of it. I know there's some products out there by Cam from Blacktail, and gosh, is it like a ceramic coat, I want to say, that you can put on things. This doesn't need a ceramic coat. Not a dining table. It's going to be just fine. We're not eating dinner on it. We're not doing anything, we're not tap dancing, doing anything crazy, just for looks. It'll hold some of your finest, liquors, I guess. I mean, I'm not a huge drinker, but I think it's going to look cool with some cool bottles in there. That's why I made it. I have a cool panel door for it. Where's that at? One sec. This guy right here. See that? I mean, that is dang nice. Spalted maple. Technically, I got that from a guy that sells to mainly luthiers. Now, if you don't know what a luthier is, those are people that make guitars. I don't happen to make guitars, but I sure like to listen to them. Matter of fact, if you don't enjoy a little Stevie Ray Vaughan, I don't know if we can be friends. I'm off track. So this is white oak. I mixed it with that spalted maple that you just see me throw up here. The spalted maple, you see that tape? I pre-finished the spalted maple. I did not want that to yellow. I wanted that to stay basically as true to color as possible. The one thing with an oil wax is that it will kind of yellow things just a little bit because it's oil. So it's going to make things a little bit more yellow. Same thing with polyurethanes that are oil-based versus water-based. If you want something super clear, you got to go with a water base. So I went with a water-based polyurethane by General Finishes for this door. And then I'm going to finish everything else in oil wax. And we're just going to wipe it on. This isn't rocket science, people, so let's go ahead and get that going. We'll do some beauty close-up shots as we go. I have not yet begun to do the inside as far as like the shelving. I do have everything pinned and ready for shelving, but debating on glass and maybe some lights. Maybe we'll get fancy. I have no idea. Okay, let's start to work. So can a guy just flip this up here on his makeshift workbench? I do have two 4-foot by 8-foot workbenches. One of them is housing CNC that I have to kind of get up and running, and the other one has, junk on it. So we're going to throw it up here on the old table saw workbench. Put a blanket on it. It's going to be just fine. So I already started on this by putting finish on the inside and the top. So we're going to do the bottom. We're going to do everything else. I have everything sanded to 180. You don't really have to go. I know the cans always say don't sand past 150. I think 180, 220, it's fine. It's not the end of the world. You're going to be okay. Just wipe it on. People do Scotch Brights. They do rags. They do cotton cloths. Just get it on. It doesn't necessarily even matter what you put it on with. I'm going to use these Scott just shop rags. I think it's fine. I don't think you should fret the small stuff. Oh, and the devil. I don't know what's going on here. Come on. Must be getting near the bottom. We are. It's gone. Okay. Tear these up. We're going to have one to keep clean for wiping things off. We're just going to, rub it on. And then we're going to let it sit for a few minutes, and we're going to wipe it off. Probably end up doing 2 coats. I know that these are, technically, all these oil waxes are a mono coat. I think you should do 2 or 3 coats, just because. Going to get a better finish, going to get just a little bit higher sheen, and I think you're going to be overall happy with the protection that it gives you by, throwing an extra coat or 2 on there, especially if you're doing a dining table, for crying out loud. Put on 3 or 4 coats. Don't be lazy. All right, let's get moving. They say you're supposed to change camera angles to keep people interested. I don't know. But I did. That's what I did. Let's get this open. Just use, whatever you have. Evidently, I don't have anything. Unprepared. Where in the heck? Found it. Paint can opener. This has been sitting for a little while, but this stuff will surprisingly keep for quite a long time. You got to mix it just a smidge. All I have to mix this with right now is a little popsicle stick, but it's fine because I've used it, is what I'm saying. We're getting kind of down about halfway through this can. Give it a good mix. And for crying out loud, don't wad up your rags and throw them away in the garbage. It could catch fire. Not a good thing. Put them in a bucket full of water or lay them out unwrapped. Let them dry. Don't burn down your house to put finish on something. Like I said, I'm just gonna rub this stuff on. Now it's low VOC. I'm not gonna read through all this stuff here, but I mean, I think you should be okay. Get a little bit on your skin, wipe it off. Some of this stuff can be an irritant. I know some people are, I've heard, allergic to the Rubio. It's probably some of the same type of stuff in this, so if you're sensitive to that kind of thing, be mindful. I am going to get on a pair of gloves. I'll bring you in here as well. There'll be some camera angles of, close-ups and whatnots of me putting the stuff on. That's actually the beauty of this. I should make note. You can apply this willy-nilly anywhere that you want. It doesn't matter. It's not like you got to keep a wet edge like you do with urethanes. You can apply here. It's basically a molecular bond to the wood. So that's what makes it kind of appealing for touch-ups. If there's damage that occurs, no finish is bulletproof. So ease of maintenance kind of goes a long way here. Also, by the way, you can brush this on with just a foam brush, kind of get in the crannies and the nooks and all that good stuff. You can roll it on. You can apply it a ton of different ways. I think I mentioned a little bit of this goes a long way, and that is no joke. So that's why you probably should just kind of be mindful. Don't overdo it. Obviously, you're going to be wiping things off kind of as you go. I stopped right here. I'm not even worried about it. I think it's going to be just fine. Used this stuff before. Like I said, kind of the beauty of it is that you can start and stop in different spots, and you really don't have to worry at all about lap marks or things of that nature. Something you absolutely cannot do with a urethane finish. What kind of music do you guys all like? Pop it down in the comments. No judgment. Like I said, I can do old time country, Jackson Brown, you name it, yacht rock, Michael McDonald. I mean, all that stuff. I honestly probably should be doing this on a bigger table, but it doesn't matter that much. Hopefully what you're seeing from this is that you don't have to just don't worry about this finish too much. I mean, just wipe it on, wipe it off. It's honestly pretty bulletproof. You can apply it all different kinds of ways. People say you got to do something one way or another. As long as you're following some basic rules. Rules of thumb, you're going to be just fine. I'll bring you in here closer here in a second. Just got back from throwing some tacos down the old gullet and finished wiping everything on this cabinet. So I think we're in a good spot now. I got to get this back panel hooked on. See, it just fits right in there. I just rounded the edges basically versus squaring things off. Do what you want to do, but Works for me. I'm going to use screws. We're going to pre-drill because you should always pre-drill, but I'm using these real small square head cabinet screws. And you don't need a ton. Don't go crazy. Pre-drill, kind of up in the corners at the bottom. Maybe put two here and here. I think we're fine. We're not building a bridge or to make it look nice. Space things out pretty good. Don't blow through into a wrong area, and I think you're fine. You know what? I'm even going to measure. We'll make everything nice and even. Let's say 2 inches. 2 inches down. And we'll do the same thing up here, 2 inches. Top and bottom. Okay, let's pre-drill. I'm angling just a little bit towards the side so I don't blow through the inside of the cabinet. I left myself about 1/4 of an inch. These little drill bits, when they get pretty tiny like that, just take your time. You don't have to go all crazy at once. Kind of go in a little ways, pull back out, clear the chips, go the rest of the way in. Go into the hardwoods like white oak or maple, anything like that. Those bits will want to snap sometimes. So, save your bits. We're going to throw a little chamfer on these, or a chamfer them, just like a little countersink, whatever you want to call it. I know what I'm talking about. Sometimes I just don't have the words to describe it. I'll bring you in though and show you after I'm done. We're just going to go down a little bit of just give a place for these screw heads to go so we're not splitting out this plywood. I'll show you what I just did real quick. So we're just putting a little bit of a chamfer on these. Countersink the heads just a little bit. Screws themselves are pretty tiny, so you don't want to get too crazy with that. Just a little square drive head. Okay, I'm back. So we did all that just so we don't blow things out. This thinner plywood will split out sometimes. No need to over tighten and get too crazy. That is that. Looks pretty darn good. Okay, flip it over. I'm going to move on to the door panel, getting the soft close hinges set up, installed. And gosh darn it, I think we're just about done. Besides, I think I'm going to do glass shelving. One shelf, try to do a little bit of LED light here at some point, and then, but I can show you. I can show you before then. That stuff's, that's down the road kind of thing. I'll show you how we're looking just as the cabinet itself. One sec. In my never-ending attempt not to screw up, I've been trying to mark things better. So I took this all apart and made sure to mark, put some tape in areas. I said that this right here goes in this spot right here. Likewise with the bracketry that goes in the top. Just trying to have less mistakes. Just gonna use a hand screwdriver. We don't need to, I've already pre-drilled, I've already put screws in this before, taken it apart, all that good stuff. So these screws should be pretty easy to drive in by hand. And you know what, once in a while it's okay to do things by hand. They got a little bit of wax in those holes, but it's fine. Again, don't over tighten, don't strip your screws. This door is not that heavy, so just snug it up. All will be fine. This cabinet is a little bit different than what I would normally build. It's got a smidge of a Art Deco look to it. I'm usually a mid-century modern, Danish modern kind of guy, but I felt like it lended itself to that look. So we have a few more, to me Art Deco means just a few more of those kind of curves in the legs. this type of style here. And then at the bottom, there's also like kind of a matching curve in the small little stretcher. Again, I did go ahead and mark this top. Anything to help me remember is a good thing. Okay, everything's still working. Super soft close. As you can see, it takes a minute. I think we're good. So I do have a handle for this that I got to put on it. Let's put some painter's tape so I, can get the door open and shut. That's extremely soft close. Gaps all still look pretty darn good. Pretty happy with that, really, to be honest. So let's get the handle on, and I think we're done, except for the shelf. Got the handle. Everything's looking pretty darn good. All the finish is wiped on. We did 2 coats. Handle is more of that Art Deco-ish kind of style. Brass, of course, solid brass. So yeah, let's drill the hole, and always a little nerve-wracking to put a hole in a brand new cabinet that you're making, but I think this is going to look pretty darn good. Measure and mark, my friends. Measure and mark. You only get one chance. I'm going to say 6 inches is right around where we want to be. Let's actually throw a piece of tape on there so we don't mar things up. Get a nice clean hole. We can mark right on the tape. All will be good. 1 3/4. Half of that is 7/8. I just measured it from each side 7/8 just to make sure that I was actually what I thought it was. Now we're going to go ahead and drill that hole. I like it. Time to drill. Just try not to totally blow through everything and make a mess in here. Again, go ahead and just countersink that inside just a smidge. Got a little bit of a flute on here. Perfect. Beauty shot time. So that pretty much does it for the whiskey cabinet build. You guys watched me go through the finish process using the Osmo oil. We went with a gloss, which you can see isn't very high gloss. Oil wax doesn't have a very high gloss. We do have a gloss finish, satin finish in here for the water-based urethane. Remember, we wanted that to pop without yellowing. Have the soft closed hinges, a little bit of an Art Deco all brass handle. Not too shabby. Hey, if you enjoyed the video and you don't mind, hit the subscribe button possibly. I do have a Patreon account, for as little as a cup of coffee. You can help a little small business out. I appreciate it. All right, until the next video.